7 overtimes. Do you even remember anything after you've had 7 overtimes? The premature Gatoration, the pacemaker jostling, the aftermath of a game that required too much math. Also, a game ball handoff, a post-game hands-off. All with Mac. Ice is Spain. Let's go.
That's how I greet Tony every day. No hug, just a handshake.
CFP rankings come out tomorrow. Consider this a preview or the way things should be. What are you doing with Ohio State after 62? 62! Consequently, what are you doing with Harbaugh if you're a Michigan fan? Where is Oklahoma going to be going into the Big 12 championship game? And then where are they going to be going out of it? And whether any of this matters because Alabama just finished a regular season where nobody played them inside 20 points. Does anybody know the last team to do that? Yale.
Alabama.
1888. Yeah. Do some history before you come out to the show.
I remember that.
Come on,
Israel, I'm going to start with you. Is it Oklahoma at number 4? Is it Ohio State at number 4? Or is it somebody else?
I mean, it might be Georgia, but if it's me, I'm putting Oklahoma there. Because if you look at Ohio State versus Oklahoma, first of all, Oklahoma's been ahead of Ohio State for a while now. And if you look at the teams that they've lost to, it's obvious that Ohio State losing to Purdue is a worse loss than Oklahoma losing the rivalry game to Texas. And that game was a last-second 3-point game here. I think Oklahoma and the Big 12 are getting this reputation as having, they give up too many points. There's no way they can hang with these other teams. Oh, well, they're winning in a Big 5 conference, and Oklahoma has in the past, done it before. They've beaten these SEC teams in the past. So to me, it's Oklahoma, and I don't think there's much question.
Okay, Ohio State have a win against Alabama in recent history as well. Israel Gutierrez. Let's go to Frank Isola.
Well, I think it's going to be Georgia. This way the committee protects themselves because if Alabama ends up losing, you could conceivably put both teams in the Final Four. But when I look at what happened over the weekend, Ohio State was the most impressive team. It seems like nobody wants Ohio State in there after what happened during the offseason and into the start of the season. But that performance against Michigan was pretty compelling.
Jackie McMullen.
I agree with Frank, who does not look like Al Pacino today. And Ohio State, they were so dominant. And that loss to Purdue that you're talking about, Izzy, that was October 20th. For me, it almost feels like a lifetime ago now. And that's how this committee always thinks. What have you done for me lately? If we haven't learned anything about the college game, that's what we've learned. To pin 62 points on the team that we thought was the best defensive team in the country, number 4 Michigan, who they ranked number 4, it's got to be.
Yeah, well, I got to say, maybe we, and by we I mean you, Kemosabe, we're wrong about Michigan having the best defense in the country. We'll take the points off everybody. Sarah Spain, please join us.
I actually agree with Frank. It's going to be Georgia because, as he said, that then allows them, if by chance Georgia beats Alabama, to keep them both in the top 5. I also think that, as much as I understand Jackie's point that, yes, absolutely, recency bias comes into play, and that win over Michigan was a huge one. I don't think it's fair to look at the loss, like the Purdue loss, and some of their near wins against teams that aren't as good and make those loom larger than what Oklahoma has done. In my opinion, it's Oklahoma's spot.
Israel, you want to add something?
Yeah, I don't think the committee needs to protect itself against Alabama losing. First of all, they're not going to lose. Second of all, if they lose to a number 5 ranked Georgia team or a number 6 ranked Georgia team, they're still going to be in that semifinal. I don't think that's necessary.
Can I just talk here for a second? Because the Kenzie Milton injury just destroys me to see him go down like that. UCF, let's just talk about them just for a second. Give them their due right here. Even if it gets the help it needs, is there any path? Can you make the case in any way, Sarah or Israel, for UCF to get in the 4?
I'm going to make the case for them, absolutely. I think if you look at if they get the help, Tony, if they get the help like you said on this, I think you throw them in there and you say, hey, we end the argument once and for all. If they go in there as a number 4 seed and lose to Alabama by 60 points, worse than they lost to the Citadel, it's okay. Look, this is the proof you needed. But if they get there, you look at the situation and say, why not? Just put them in that top 4. There aren't any two-loss teams that you think, hey, that's good for NCAA football. I think it's better if UCF gets in.
Listen, you can't hold it against them this week because they still put up 38 and got the win despite the injury. But you can put it against them going forward if you're trying to figure out the entertainment value of a team without their starting quarterback. And it doesn't matter because, unfortunately, the way the system is laid out, even if they get all the help they need, it doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be in the top 4 anyway, because their strength of record, their strength of schedule, and the way people view them because of the schedule that they play, because college football screwed up like that, is always going to be used.
So even if with 2 lost teams, should Ohio State have 2 losses? Should Oklahoma have 2 losses? Should that happen, And they've lost 15% of their schedule is 2 losses. You still don't put UCF there. Let me ask you this question then. Frank Isola, since you played Jim Harbaugh once on a Halloween episode of Around the Horn, what is Michigan doing with Harbaugh after a loss like that to Ohio State?
Well, Ohio State has dominated this rivalry. I think we're all surprised by the result and how many points they put up, but I'm not putting him on the hot seat. He's still a very good coach. They just played a better team on their home field. What did you really expect? I get it. The game got away from them, and their defense was exposed. No one in college football, no football coach has a longer year ahead of him than Jim Harbaugh. He has a full 12 months to think about that game.
Jackie, a Michigan fan, winning 10 games in a season but losing to Notre Dame and losing to Ohio State, is that something they can swallow?
Well, they've had to now, haven't they? So that's the thing. They're 2-16 over the last 18 games against Ohio State, and I'm pretty sure Harbaugh didn't coach all of those games. But I will say this: you brought Harbaugh in to change the equation, change the equation instead of the narrative, and he hasn't done that so far. So are they going to get rid of him? No, but is it going to get a little hotter for him? Of course.
We'll move on. LSU and A&M, and I have a legit question here. Did too much happen in this game to make it an all-time game? Because after 7 overtimes and 74-72, do you even remember? Do you lose all sense and you need to be shocked back to coherence just to remember everything that happened? The premature Gatoration, the catch, the pacemaking jostle. Or is that the point of the overtime rule? I was going to say the new overtime rule. We've been doing this for a decade, but of the overtime rule in college. Frank, you want to start there? Does this game show college OT works or not?
You know what? It's a one-time thing. I get it. It's a freak show. First of all, the stats shouldn't count. That's absurd that the stats count in a game like this. But maybe you get to a point where you scored on first down or second down, and that should be how they judge the winner or the loser. To go 7 overtimes, it's way too much after a while.
So you think it's too much of a gimmick, and then you were adding a gimmick to a gimmick. It sounded like what you were doing.
I'm going to make it shorter than that.
Jackie McMullen, how about you?
I still don't think it's good when I looked in my box score in the morning and actually thought this was a score of a basketball game. In fact, the team, Texas A&M, scored as many points as their basketball team did. I also think a premature Gatorade dousing is a little unprecedented. Besides that, you just got to move on from this game. As you said, it was like chaos. It's
okay. I wouldn't say it's unprecedented for the premature Gatoration because we've seen that. And what it is it's a mark of an all-time great game, whether it's LSU versus Kentucky, the Guy Morris game from a decade ago. Sarah Spain, is this proof that OT is working because it's making something into an all-time game or not?
Oh, it absolutely works because at the end of it, you felt as though we know who won and why, right? The most annoying part of bad overtime rules is when you feel like it's decided by something that isn't a part of the actual game. As long as it was telling us who won it, and it's probably not going to happen very often, so just deal with it.
Is it real?
When you have to dissect the game, when you have to go through your notes to remember what happened at the end of regulation, like you're mentioning in the Gatorade back, that's a mark of a great game. That's a game that'll give you 2 segments on Around the Horn if it was a slower day, because we can talk about so many elements. The thing that made this negative was the fight afterward and that incident with the coach's nephew from Texas A&M. So I really don't have a problem with the rules whatsoever.
Okay, fine. So you're looking at your notes, and you've got top 5 plays, and you remember them all from this game. What were your top 5 plays from this game, Mr. Gutierrez? I'm going to put you into the
covering the game. If I was covering the game.
Okay, we'll move on. Let's talk some NFL now from the action yesterday. Browns 35, Bengals 20. Baker to Chubb, play of the game. Demarius Randall to Hugh Jackson, the handoff of the game. And Baker Mayfield to Hugh Jackson, the hands off of the game.
Left Cleveland, goes down to Cincinnati. I don't know. It's just somebody that was in our locker room asking for us to play for him and then goes to a different team we play twice a year.
With the handoff of the game ball, but then specifically Baker Mayfield's comments there, Jackie. Are you all right with how the Browns handle this?
I am. He's right. You got fired from our team. You put us in there telling us to win. Then you went to the opposition. I don't blame Hugh Jackson either. This is just how the NFL rolls. Baker Mayfield, that edge is exactly what Cleveland has been missing. Do you realize they haven't won a road game since October 11th, 2015 before that game yesterday? Bring it on.
Frank Isola, how about you?
Hey, give Hugh Jackson a break. He finally got to see Cleveland win a game for once.
All right, you got jokes. I know you do.
I look at what Baker Mayfield said, and I agree with him because I think if you're Hugh Jackson, you get hired by Cincinnati, that's great. You're really going to stand on the sideline that soon after getting fired by Cleveland? Just stay up in the press box, watch the game from there. And the one hand, just a month ago, you're telling we're all in this together. Now you're on the sideline.
So you're with Baker
Mayfield
here, and you have a problem with him being on the sideline. Sarah Spain, how about you?
Yeah, absolutely not. First of all, when Hugh Jackson got hired, he was specifically hired because of his head coaching experience and his ability to be on the sideline and help take some of Marvin Lewis's pressure off as he's dealing with either the defense or the offense. That's not grandstanding. That's doing the job he was hired for. And Baker Mayfield, do you think getting fired from your job and going to a different job is kind of like losing your starting position at one school and then going to another school right after that and playing against your old school? Because that's what you did, Baker Mayfield. That's what you do when you lose your job. You go somewhere else and you work somewhere else. So quit your belly aching. You got the win. If you want to say you prefer the play calling from the new guy, that's fine. But the other stuff was complete BS to me.
He's saying we're not boys anymore. That's what he's saying.
There was a little bit of edge coming out of Plasma One there. I'm not going to lie. I'm sensing some edge. Israel Gutierrez.
This is big boy stuff.
Well, I mean, she's right. I mean, the little detail that Baker got wrong there is he didn't leave Cleveland. He was fired from Cleveland. Is he not supposed to get another job? Is he not supposed to be equally as angry at the Cleveland Browns organization for letting him go? Of course, this isn't on Hugh for going there. This is more an example of what they actually felt about him when he was there, in my opinion, and it's now just coming.
Jackie and then Frank. We'll get out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't fault Hugh Jackson for doing what he did, but you better be prepared for what's coming after you make that decision. This is the NFL. This isn't college football.
Yeah, Sarah and Izzy, Baker Mayfield didn't say that he shouldn't have gotten a job. What he's saying is, you're now the enemy. Don't act like we're buddies. That's not how it works, especially since you were just our coach not that long ago on our side. Now you're against us. We're not like that anymore.
Yeah, well, it was great that it was. We wanted a hug, and Baker Mayfield let it be known. This is just going to be a shake. Ooh. All right, McMullen in the lead. Everybody else has some work to do in buy or sell. Now that you have me thinking about this, Sarah, maybe when you make an appearance on the Levitard radio show or you do your own radio show, I have to question where you are in your role here. Okay. Yeah, back on buy or sell on the other side.
The more the merrier.
Jackie McMullen, 13 points. Isola 8, Gutierrez 3, Spain 8. It's buy or sell. Seahawks 30, Panthers 27. Walk-off win for Seattle. Two teams going in opposite directions right here. Chris Carson going in opposite directions on the hurdle flip. And TJ Lockett's Iverson over Lou homage. I was talking to Frank about this before. He's tired of the over-the-top nature and the ridiculous planning. I ask you all on a show where faces fly off the wall and with a mute button that has 10 Goodfellas references on a show, are we in favor of that? The answer is absolutely yes. See you later, Frank. Yes. Sarah, bigger win for the Seahawks or loss for the Panthers?
Bigger win for the Seahawks. This is a Panthers team that had won 10 straight at home. They get the edge on them head-to-head, and they further their ability to get to the wild card. This is a team that at the beginning we weren't really sure if they could close. They've now established it over winning good teams, and they've got 4 home games coming up, so I think they're in the prime position.
Israel, bigger win for Seattle or loss for Carolina?
No, I think the tougher loss for Carolina, even though they're all equally tough when you're in this position, was to Detroit by a point. I think this one is a bigger win for Seattle. I mean, they just look like they're getting into a rhythm. A couple of their losses have come against the Rams, for crying out loud. I think this Seahawks team can get into a rhythm and make some noise in the playoffs.
For crying out loud, it's like Bob Ryan was in your body for just once. For crying out loud, they lost to the Reds. Isola, how about you?
Russell Wilson, outstanding year. Give Pete Carroll some credit. They lost all those big names on defense. They've remained competitive. This is about Carolina, though. Graham Gano kicked like, an 80-yarder against the Giants to beat them. He missed the big field goal against Detroit, and then yesterday he missed one, which led to the game-winning field goal by Jared Kowski.
If they didn't have that Gano field goal against the Giants, they would be one win further back from the pack. McMullen, how about you?
I think it is the Panthers, though. They were 6-2, and we were praising Cam Newton. Now all of a sudden they're 6-5. This comes off the 2-point conversion controversial decision the previous week. These guys look like they're in trouble. They've got New Orleans 2 times before the season ends, Tony. This could be it for them.
Buy or sell 2, 5 straight wins in a row consecutively. For the Colts, 8 straight 303 games in succession, continuously. For Andrew Luck, look at this game-winning play on 3rd down and 9. I mean, this basically seals the field goal. Look at the pass the Colts called for Luck again. Israel, are you want to have a Luck MVP season discussion, or you want to talk about calling Luck's number again as a receiver?
We've got more time to talk about Andrew Luck as the season goes along. That play was not designed to go to Andrew Luck.
Think?
That play went to Andrew Luck because the Dolphins left him alone, just like they were running on 3rd and 10 the whole game, and then decided, you know what, let me do it one more time with the game on the line here at my own 10-yard line. The Dolphins did a lot of Dolphins things yesterday. We'll talk about Andrew Luck.
All right, this isn't about the Dolphins. Isola, how about you?
After 2 years of dealing with injuries, Andrew Luck is all the way back. It's great to see they gave an offensive line. And give Frank Reich a lot of credit. Here's Frank Reich, offensive coordinator of the Eagles last year. Looks like they miss him, and he's working out pretty well.
So you give him credit for calling plays to a quarterback who's basically missed the last 2.5 years to injury?
One bad play.
All right, I'm talking about a play a couple weeks ago. Yes, one bad play yesterday. McMullen, how about you?
Yeah, but one potentially disastrous play. I couldn't believe it when I saw Luck out there. I'm thinking to if I'm Andrew Luck, I've got my hands like alligator arms, like all those receivers when they feel pressure coming. I don't know why he tried to catch it. Their whole season could have blown up in a heartbeat right there. Crazy. Don't do it.
Yeah, but credit to him for hanging on to the ball. Tough guy. He probably thanked the guy for tackling him afterwards, too. This is all part of the MVP campaign he's putting together. Now, he's probably not going to be keeping up with Mahomes and Breeze, but statistically, first quarterback to have 8 straight games with 3 touchdowns or more since Tom Brady back in 07. Yeah. He's doing amazing things. He's worth being in the discussion.
In the discussion. Oh, thank you very much, Sarah. I'm glad there's a discussion that he could be in. But that's what we're doing. We have discussions. We don't need to highlight the fact that they're in it. We're already having it. We move on. Buy or sell 3 on the scale of.
Put them in golf carts. Film them. Why did we have to see them walking? It took 5 hours. Nothing on pay-per-view should last.
So wait. Your biggest issue is that they were walking the golf course, and you need them in golf carts.
Did you hear Phil Mickelson breathing?
Yes, I did. Go ahead, Jackie Mack.
The whole thing, I'm going to go unmitigated disaster, starting with the fact, as you said, too little, too late for both of these guys. And if you're going to play a straight golf match, why were people going to tune in and pay? Oh, wait, they didn't have to pay because it was streamed for free, either by accident or on purpose. I'm not even sure which. I'm really sorry I missed this whole thing, Tony.
You sound like you're sorry.
Yeah, I'm not really sorry I missed it, and most people aren't either. But I will say that there is a kernel of something in there that may be used for the future. What they learn from this might tell them to have team play. Maybe you get an LPGA and a PGA player together versus other ones. Maybe you've got sort of a Ryder Cup, but even more fun situation. More side bets, trick plays, all that stuff. There might be something you can get out of this, but not this.
And Israel, you need a lot of points after the horn.
I mean, there's not enough weight. There wasn't in this one, but there's not enough weight between any 2 other golfers to make it a real pay-per-view event. This was a chance, but I agree with Sarah that there's a kernel of a possibility, whereas if some sort of rivalry develops in sports, or in golf, whether it be Rory and Jordan Spieth or anything like that, then maybe while they're still in their prime, you do this.
Kernel of possibility. That's what you had to start by yourself, Israel, but that kernel popped. Gutierrez done. Isola done. Look at this. Sarah Spain and Jackie McMullen, they're in the discussion for Showdown. We'll see if we have the discussion when we come back in 2 minutes. But you're in the discussion now, Sarah. Stick around. It's got to be in the discussion for all time around the horn rivalries. Good luck to you both. Gonzaga was number 3. Duke was number 1. Gonzaga beat Duke. Kansas was number 2. Tennessee was number 5. Kansas beat Tennessee. Today's rankings have Gonzaga number 1 by 1 first-place vote over Kansas. It's 32-31. Is that how you see it, Sarah? Is that fitting?
I think it's fitting because I can't wait for the for the tough rags to riches tale of Zion Williamson coming back from being not ranked #1 for 1 week of the season.
Okay.
No, this is all about Rui Hachimura. That kid blocked. They only got him down for 3 blocks at the end of the game, that, Tony.
Yeah.
I swear there was more like 4 or 5 of them. Why did D keep going in the paint against that kid? He's going to be a great lottery pick.
Point, Jackie McMullen. Analysis. We'll move on. Showdown 2, 25 straight completions. Sequentially. Versus the Cardinals. How impressive is what Phillip Rivers did to set the record yesterday, Jackie?
I get it. The Cardinals aren't that good. I don't care who you are. We just saw some of the best quarterbacks in the game miss wide open receivers yesterday. 25 straight. Awesome.
Yeah, next gen stats, 68,000 to 1 are the odds that he would go 25 straight to start. 15,000 to 1 odds he'd get struck by lightning.
Are those odds, though, that he would do it against any team or just the Cardinals? I think if it's the Cardinals, you got to lower those odds a little bit. It's tied the NFL record, not set it. Either way, Jackie Mack, you are setting a FaceTime right here.
So there's a lot of hand-wringing today about Aaron Rodgers and the poor Green Bay Packers and what will happen now to them. And I understand that. But there was another team that played last night, the Vikings, and their quarterback, Kirk Cousins, who takes a lot of heat on this show and elsewhere. He was the best quarterback on the field last night, and I think that should be duly noted. People say he wasn't great in play action. He was great last night, great off the screens. Let's give Kirk Cousins his due just this one Sunday at least.
All right. Jackie's got Kirk Cousins better than Aaron Rodgers. Good to know. That's going to do it, folks. 23 and a half hours.
Rotate.